Now the chat's in there. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to wait for folks to start viewing it. What do you want to tell me about the Vienna train? Christ, I am expat. It's Google telling me about I am expat. Vienna wants you, awaits for you. Night train from Amsterdam to launch in May. Well, that's complete. Oh, it's from 12 hours ago. Okay, well, that's okay. Pack your bags. The day is almost upon us. It's a night train. Maybe it figured out because you're in your group, in your D&D group. Someone said they took the night train from Berlin.
Probably.
That fucking train is just permanently delayed. To be fair, it does go a long way, so any bit of work along the track is going to cause delays. Offering trains as a viable alternative to flying. Oh, that's it? Oh, and the fact that it'll leave at night and get there in the morning. So you don't have to worry about wasting a day, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I guess that makes some sense.
Oh, they wanted to launch it December 13th, 2020. But okay, so oh wow. The train. Hello, you two. Hello, Isabella, Nicolas. So it says here the train will depart and it will arrive in Amsterdam at 10 a.m. on May 24th after departing there. Wow. 4 people all at once. I'm just sitting here reading news about trains around Europe. Everybody comes in all at once. I mean, it's not certainly one of those weird times. You know, I can't imagine how fast that train goes, though. I mean, it flies. It's got to fly through Germany, but I mean, fly on the tracks.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just do maps, right? Yes, it's under each of my YouTube videos. There's not much there. I tried this morning with paint.net, .exe, .ini, whatever that new program is that is way too complicated than what I remember. So I got frustrated and closed it. I tried to create wording that was centralized on a thing, but then there was layers and layers and layers, and then I wound up deleting this thing and wound up deleting that thing, and then everything was a checkerboard background, and then half my words disappeared behind this white background that I didn't know where it was, and I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, okay, I'm going to leave this up to someone who actually understands how to do graphic design in the future at some point. I don't know anybody. Okay, I do know people, but they're really unfriendly with me. I don't know why. Just all of a sudden there was a light switch at one point and they just not talk to me anymore. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, under each of my videos there is merch. There's a face mask. It's mostly about my tattoo. I haven't actually put new stuff in it yet. I've been trying to figure out new stuff, but every time I create something or try to get clip art of something, it just says, oh, for private use only. I'm like, okay. Or I can spend $50 for a stick figure icon that I have commercial use for and make no money off of. Like, I'm not very good at business. So anyways, I was going to do Google Maps. Amsterdam Central. Directions. Vienna. Austria. Stop that. Woo! I'm yawning already. 15 hours and 55 minutes. Oh, that says that's by train. Well, I mean, that's still not bad. To leave at 6:30 in the evening, probably have dinner on your train out, and then just go back to your room. Oh, this is also like 4 transfers.
Hmm.
Wow. Ugh. Amsterdam. There's Matt Peterborg, Vinduin. I can't spell Amsterdam. Amsterdam to Vienna train. So Matt's here regularly. The chat's back in the actual live stream now. I don't have to pop it out. Yeah, I believe there is lacrosse. They would call it lacrosse, but lacrosse Amsterdam. Yep, Amsterdam Lions lacrosse. Radio. Oh, it's right near my gym too. Yeah, it's that time of week again. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna see if you guys can see right there. It's Amsterdam Lions lacrosse. Oh, they're right next to the ice rink. Okay, that's interesting. Wait, no. Ice rink's in a different spot. Oh no, they're on the backs. Oh, that's the lacrosse field. Okay, no, the ice rink's over there. That's the one I used to practice at. Oh, okay, that's the lacrosse field. All right, yeah, I've been down there. I can go take a picture sometime if I'm down there on my bike area. Yeah, there's actually more lacrosse teams. That's just one club. And if there's one club, there's more. They even have an Instagram if you're actually curious. Amsterdam Lions Lacrosse. Yeah, official lacrosse. There's no I in lawns. What? I swear to God, these are just the best.
No iron lawns.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
I'm gonna be paying $625 for my room in the house. That's with utilities included. Is that reasonable? I have no idea.
That's not bad.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
The price, considering how much I was getting paid on disability, would not be that bad.
Oh, he's not here.
Correct.
He's there.
He's there. And that's, I'm going to make a slight similarity to some of my linebacker videos. I'm 5'8", 130 and 195 pounds. And what position do you think is good for me? Fucking pick one. 625 for all utilities and your room in that house. Is that reasonable? I have no idea. I can assume the maximum payout of your disability, which would be mine, plus whatever your state allots for food stamps, if you're getting those, would leave you with a little bit of spending cash afterwards. So that sounds fine. But is that reasonable? I don't know. Is it like high for your area? Is it low for your area? 625 here is just a little, is this, for like all room and all that jazz? I have not enough information to say, is that reasonable? That is money you are paying.
That is an amount.
That is an amount of money. Yeah. Sorry, I'm falling down the rabbit hole of lacrosse in Amsterdam. Is this literally, they only have one team? I'm not looking up anything super specific. I literally look up Amsterdam, or lacrosse Amsterdam. I should probably do Netherlands. NLB, Nederlandse Lacrosse Bond. Yep, there it is. Yes, accept all cookies. Wow. Yeah, the competition board, for 2019, 2020. Okay, there we are. So Enschede, Vera DI Lacrosse 1, Delft 1, Broncos, not Enschede, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and Utrecht. Those were all in the Heren main class for probably the things. Broncos. Who's the Broncos? There's no city name for that one. I'm getting confused by that because, like, oh, there's the Groningen Gladiators also, but because in American football, Enschede Broncos, but Enschede and Broncos are different things in lacrosse. Oh, Zachary, there. I think it'd be around 400 I'd have left, but I also have a friend who rents 600 for a studio in the ghetto downtown. And my other friend rents a whole house for 900 a month.
So yes, there's options.
Yeah. Did you get your uniform yet? My football uniform, those are held by the club. I have it, when we have a game, I get number 44 out of the pile. And then depending on how much weight I've gained or lost, extra large or large pants. And then at the end, I turn it inside out and stick it in the dirty bag and they send it off to the cleaners. And if we have a home game the next week or an away game the next week and we have to wear it again, they probably do a rush job on it. I've got pictures of it. I need to go to my photos to go back to October 2018, actually. Has a good picture of that. Okay, we're not in October 2018. Yeah, that's I had my helmet was black for a while, but in order to go to Paris and do the Atlantic Cup, it needed to be painted blue. And I had to get a white face mask like super quick while we were here. And then that's 44. And I think these are large pants because I was still fresh from the States and like drastically losing weight. And then winter happened here and I found what cost approaches were. Not directly from football. I do not make money directly. I have to pay my club fee just like everyone else on the team. They are not paying me. However, my YouTube money compensates for that. So I make money on YouTube from ad revenue from my football videos that pays for me to do stuff in football, which allows me to video record that stuff to make money on YouTube. See the circle here where it's sort of like, I don't get paid directly from the club, but there's an internal circle. There's a self-contained circle of football YouTube money allows me to play football, which allows me to make football YouTube money. So it's weird. I guess if you want to call it that one. The last time I heard of that was a constellation that wasn't a circle. No, that's the long snake. Whatever. Reference whatever you want. Oh no, that thing is the twisted snake charm thing from Neverending Story, I guess.
Luck dragon?
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Snake eating its tail?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Because last time I checked, the Ouroboros was also the temporal escort from the 32nd century.
Well, I'm not saying it's not.
The Ouroboros class starship. Oh, where are we at here? See, there it is. The Ouroboros class starship. Would you say football there's more or less competitive than in the States? It all depends on where you're looking at in the States. It's that's the home of American football. So are we talking the NFL, or are we talking, if your state has 1A to 6A football, are we talking like 3A, 5A? Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like, is it more competitive? Well, I guarantee you that any NFL player will come to the Netherlands and just stomp face. However, one of my current teammates, Sophion, did a year abroad in Nebraska and he played high school football there. He'd only done 1 year, half a year at youth in Utrecht, and did some stuff with it. I mean, he said he'd never really played it before, not really. And he went there and he was a starting safety, and he'd never really played it before much in his life versus some people who had, yeah. So it depends on where you go in the States. What made you want to move to Amsterdam? One, it gets me out of the country. Two, it's closer to Germany. Three, it's sort of like things were getting so distant from us in the States. We were becoming isolated that it was almost kind of okay. I mean, there's other reasons to want to move out. I mean, has anybody seen what's happened to the United States in the last 3 years? We're old enough to see where the road goes. As we're driving on it, we're just like, let's take this exit. I play semi-pro in Texas, so at the semi-pro level. And it all depends on the teams. So if you watch my suit-up videos, the light blue one that I did for the Bridge City Ballers, those teams in that league were probably below the average Netherlands level. But some guys in the semi-pro up in the Pacific Northwest are better because they're fresh out of college, like the Ducks and the Beavers and WSU and stuff. Texas overall has a general better culture. So you'd probably be better than guys in the Netherlands. But to be fair, there are also people here that have been playing for 15 years. And they've played multiple positions. So there is kind of a skill cap because you can only get so good. The whole bullshit iron sharpens iron. And so if you're not getting anything to make you better, you kind of reach up to a certain point. Are you in 6A? No, I'm at the top level of Netherlands League. If we win the next in 2022, when we start games again, if we win the entire season, we win the national championship, the Tulip Bowl, and we become Nederlandse kampioen. So, and we get to be like, we're the best in the Netherlands. Am I gay? Yes. Husband is sitting over there doing something on WhatsApp. That's his hand right there. Hello, Brody Atwater. But in terms of what made me want to move to Amsterdam, there's a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, I'd never really left the country before. I hadn't even been to Canada. I hadn't even been close enough to the border to see Canada. So that's that. And no, I'm looking at Peyton's thing. I'm not in 6A. I was just using that one because Willie coached for his high school, and Oregon has 6 levels. I'm not sure where there's any 1A teams in Oregon, but dang. First goal had a game to, oh, I guess it is. Spring season is like, I'm not saying anything bad on lacrosse here, but there's 2 things to do in spring. Lacrosse standing skill or baseball while running. Yes, I still have my code for sleeves. It's down below all my videos. Like if you go to the football, when I was at practice, I try to always have my pads and helmet in the thumbnail. You can always see those. There's a link below for those, for the thing to get money off on that. I don't personally order much from them because 1/3 of the price is just in import costs, let alone the shipping, let alone the actual price of what I want to pay. Kind of a pain in the butt to get it overseas. So when I order, it's very large amounts. So any new gear I'm looking at getting? Yes, actually. Yes, if you guys had momentarily. If you guys watched Thursday's video, the one that came out Friday, you know why. If you watched yesterday's video, the one that went live a couple hours ago, you know why I need to get new cleats. You shouldn't be able to reach through your cleats. Aaron, come over here. They want to see you.
Hello. This is what I look like.
Yeah. It's just a tiny hole. Yeah. It is. I mean, not to mention the plate is coming off the sole, and it's. I made a joke on WhatsApp to Aaron. It was like, who says I don't go hard at practice? And he didn't take the joke and says nobody says that because I was pushing against the sled and doing enough explosion that when I pushed against the sled, my foot pushed against the side of my cleat, and my cleat stayed in the ground, and my foot slid out of my cleat, and my foot was in mud. I was like, ew.
What cleats are those?
They're like 5 years old. I don't know. I have to keep looking up their name. Vapor?
Nike Vapor Max 3. Okay.
Sure. Middle linebacker. I have been started out as a wide receiver. Turns out I can't catch. Moved to cornerback. That was a bad decision. Wasn't athletic enough to do that one. Willie and I started training me for outside linebacker because I always kept wanting to stay close to the line as a cornerback and run forward a bit more than usual and got a bit more physical than I should have, but couldn't catch up to the receivers running full speed down this field. So we thought outside linebacker because I was pretty good at lateral and forward movement. But then I got here and they're like, nah, you're actually large enough to probably be more middle linebacker than in outside linebacker. They like tubby, strong safeties as their outside linebackers here because everyone in the Netherlands is far skinnier than you would expect. So like when they talk about heavy boys for line, they say 100 kilos and up. 100 kilos is 225 pounds. If you're ever wondering why weightlifters have such weird weights or why the United States has such weird weights, like, both of these plates are 45 and the bar weighs 45, but this one is like 15 and 35 and 1 and 1/2. That's because here I can go 1, 2, 5, 10, and 20. That's my weights here at the gym. That's easy. There's a halfie too, but that's for like curls. But yeah, I've been middle linebacker for 2 seasons now. We had a 3-4 before, and I was will linebacker. So, but then we moved to a 4-3, and I became the Mike. I don't know what cleats are next. I literally filmed the vlog today, where I went down to Decathlon to go look to see if there was some excessively cleated soccer cleats that they sell here, and they didn't, and I wound up buying 3 shirts and a piece of underwear. So I didn't buy any cleats. I do have blue ones. However, these are so good. These are so nice looking, and they're actually useful. I don't actually want to break them over the next 7 to 8 months before our next season when I get to wear these with the home jersey. So I'm going to wear them for like a practice or two, but I'm going to order things from Forella, which is the actual American football shop in the Netherlands. Because Decathlon doesn't sell American. They have 4 footballs there. And they intermingled their baseball hats. Like the little snapback caps. Yeah. Like I saw on the same shelf, Seahawks, Boston Red Sox, you know, the Angels and the Patriots. Because they're all baseball caps with American teams, right? Yeah, they're the same sport. I come from Portland. I know what the Seahawks look like. Do you prefer Nike over any brand? Okay, so when it comes down to gloves and shoes, I like Nike. But Nike's padded gloves didn't work out very well. I mean, I also have UA, but these were actually cheap from Germany. So that's why I got these. I wanted blue ones that matched because my black ones were falling apart from the Cobras. So I quickly bought some blue ones that I found, well, like I said, cheap on a German site. They're going out of business sale sort of thing. Anyways, but I wanted to get actual padded ones so that when I get in with the linemen and they're trying to fight with me, I don't get busted pinkies and stuff because they're judo chopping me. So I have padded gloves, and Nikes aren't that great. So I wound up having cutters because they're overall better padded. But I would prefer to find Nike cleats, but they're kind of a pain in the butt to find. So I may be getting Addy Zeros, but I have to look at Forella's website. Forella Team Sports. Oh, right. I was looking up football helmets for them. Riddell Diamond Speedflex helmets, 645 euros. Oh, no. Helmets, protective gear, shoes, US sizes. They got Addy Zero Prime Knit Black for 200 euros. Do we have anything cheaper? Price low to high. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there's some Addy Zero 5-star 3.0 lows. Those are super yellow, though. They're on sale for 40 euros. Five and 6 really hug the foot and haven't slipped. Yeah, that's like I see here the Adidas Corner Blitz 7 MDL mid to low. I had some Vapor Shark 2s. I didn't like those because they have more of the molded, not stick things. What I call them lineman cleats because they're fat cleats, not pointed cleats. So they grip mud a little bit easier, and they're better for grass, but they don't work well on turf. So I bought those a while back, and it was in that black and white flecked, but I wound up just donating them to the club. There's Nike Alpha. Oh, the Nike Vapor Strike Lows. Those are solid blue. What color do you want? Oh, you're royal blue. That's really good. Oh, and they only come in sizes 6 and 6.5 and 7. So this is for children. Yeah, the molded rubber. Like, they're fine when you don't have to like run and do agility stuff. If you're just plop, 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 they provide a lot of grip when being pushed backwards for like linemen or even perhaps like a running back. They could work for me, but it's weird. Do I think Trevor Lawrence is going to do good with the Jags? I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be far better than people think he's going to be, and I have a really stupid reason for that. And I'm not sure how many people really want to hear about that. But Trevor Lawrence, let's hear it. Trevor Lawrence gives off those underdog vibes, unlike the other little twerp. Who is the other quarterback 2021 draft? Cannot remember his name. Just know that he's Zach Wilson. Okay, so like I said, this is the dumbest reason. Zach Wilson looks like he's got 2 brain cells in his head and he dribbled them away trying basketball a long time ago. And then realized I should be a quarterback. He looks rich, white, and stupid. He's a himbo beyond all belief. And anytime the NFL drafts a himbo, they don't last very long. However, you get sort of a weird, ugly quarterback who's not a really good face. This, for instance, Trevor Lawrence has straight white, like he looks like he came out of a greased up Red Hot Chili Peppers album. It's just, he doesn't look like the spitting image of your perfect star quarterback like they cast in every Disney film. He doesn't look the part, which is why he's good. It's because he hasn't had his looks to carry him through the stardom of being a quarterback. He's had to rely on skill. That's why I think, and that's what I say, it's a stupid reason. It's because Zach Wilson is super cute. Trevor Lawrence is not so cute. He's got a honk and schnoz, and he's got just the straightest, blandest hair looking out there. He's not worried about his appearance in the slightest. Who do you think Trevor's going to end up like? I think Trevor Lawrence, barring any catastrophic injuries, he is probably going to wind up within the top 8 quarterbacks, which would be the top 1/4 of them, pretty up for a decent time. And then he's going to maintain good. He's not going to be a Peyton Manning. He could be. There's always that possibility. I mean, you go back and you look at Peyton Manning's draft picture, he's butt fucking ugly. Same thing. Tom Brady, he looked like he looked pear-shaped, and obviously Tom Brady has skills. It's not just the Patriots. We saw it with the team. Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, that's. And to be fair, losing a game isn't completely on the quarterback. And I got into a little comical fight with the ELF meme page about quarterbacks, that they're elevated to a level that makes them seem like the dictator of who wins or loses in the game. And it's like, that's not how football works. Like if you can have an all-star quarterback, but if your offensive line sucks, they are going to you're not going to have much time to get a pass off or get a run. And that's the thing, he doesn't have a strong team to work with right now, so it's going to make him look bad after a fashion. And that's the issue with also being a quarterback. You're the face of the team. So if your defense isn't doing a great job at being defenders against the other team, you may be able to score a lot of points, and your opponent can score a lot of points, which makes your job harder. So, what makes a good quarterback is a good team. The quarterback just tends to get the brunt of everything because they're vaunted as they're the specialty player. No, I don't think Mahomes is going to end up like Brady. I think Mahomes is going to go beyond Brady. That's I thought about that one in my head of like, you know, the idea of Brady being the top. Is Mahomes going to get anywhere close to that? No, Mahomes is going to go beyond because Brady's not the top. Like, Brady had a good development on the Patriots over a great number of years, a lot of years. And he took those skills he learned. If Brady would have went on to a so-so team, he would have been so-so quarterback. But Mahomes is going to be, Mahomes has been doing good, you know, with the team he has, and things have been going strange. Plus, you know, Mahomes can run. The few games where Brady's gotten the ability to run, he runs like a dad. He doesn't run like an athlete. He runs like a dad. And he plays up to the fact that people get in their mind of don't hit the quarterback while he's in the pocket, despite the fact that he's 10 yards downfield running like he just stole chocolate from his wife in the middle of her time of the month. Most of the lines for all of the first round quarterbacks are ranked below the top 15. Yeah. That's it's just, I try not to go with rankings because those are, I've never really been one that assumes I'm a scientist by my head. And so I look at people judging squishy things, and squishy things do not like being corralled very well into statistics. Squishy things can be life. I mean, you can say, life finds a way. The scientists thought they had control over the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, and they did not. One hurricane and all hell broke loose. Yeah, I know he's also 40-something. So, stay out of the age topic here. I think the money in Kansas City is going to run out. They won't be able to keep all their superstar players. That is true. That is true. Unless, like, if they go, and that's part of the stupid thing is that once you get a superstar team, they're usually putting massive down payments and they're trying to win, but then like the winning of whatever doesn't actually pay as much as they're paying out. So they have to like, it's weird when you see like a really good team that like, bleh, they falls apart after a Super Bowl. And I'm like, because apparently winning a even though everybody should know how much you get paid for a Super Bowl win, they think it's going to be different or something. Top 5. Let me try to think of them all. We'll try to go with skill. So as the time I've been watching football, I have to give it up towards Mahomes and Brady only recently, because I was still under the maybe the system of the Patriots is making Brady shine, but he wound up doing, roughly the same thing with a different system. So we'll give something to that there. Roethlisberger, actually, that's pretty. He's pretty up there with the skill wise. I feel like I'm looking at my PopCap figurine of Luke Kuechly, and I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers of wears crazy hats, dresses funny for his interviews. Cam Newton actually has the skills, but sociological issues within the NFL that are probably making decisions around Cam Newton a bit weird, and they're kind of putting him in weird places because nobody wants to deal with the problems. I need to currently get a list. I don't actually know them all. Aaron Rodgers is up there, like I said, and as much as I really dislike the Seahawks and the whole concept of like that, I gotta say that Russell Wilson is also up there as a quarterback. I dislike Seattle as a city and thus by extension the Seahawks, but I cannot completely hate upon Russ Wilson because he's on the Seahawks. He does have skill. And there's probably some more that I just don't see, like whoever is the current. In terms of like coming back from absolute. Oh, also, I don't know why, but there's something lingering in the back of my mind about Jared Goff. I don't know what it is. It feels like he's being hindered in some way. Like, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about Rodgers, but when you skill a quarterback, you got to think about how it's not just how good their throws are. You got to think about how well their eyes are, how good they can read plays. And he's not currently, but my ADD just farted that thing. He was an announcer. Recently. Almost had it. He was an announcer, and he would constantly call the play as the players were lining up on the field, and he was looking from the announcer's box, and people were like, Romo. He just, like, he left due to injury and concussy and all that jazz, but that dude, you know, he had the eyes for it. He could look at the play, and he knew exactly what was going to happen. And you're like, what? And he would read it just as fast as an in-game quarterback. The dude hasn't played in a long while. I mean, but that's like, he's not currently playing. So it's like, but that's the thing is like, I don't want to pick all the older quarterbacks, but they've been in the biz for so long. That's why I was like, Rodgers is good because he's got that long bomb arm. Like when it's getting down to like the fourth, when it's like fourth and long, you're just like, please throw it to the moon, please, because you really want to see an Aaron Rodgers throw a Hail Mary. But back to the. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure who had been retiring this year or whatnot. So I was a bit hesitant. I don't follow the internal shufflings of the teams as well as I should. I watch games for the sport rather than the actors. Like, I don't watch, I didn't watch Star Wars because I wanted to see Adam Driver. I watched Star Wars to see if the story could even make any more sense and was less about the Skywalkers. No. But like some people watch for a certain player, some people watch a certain team because they're local to that team. I watch to watch a football game. I could watch any game except the Seahawks because I just cannot. I hate Seattle. So a lot of people are like, how do you not know all these players? I'm like, because I don't collect trading cards. Plus, I pay more attention to what the defense does. When I'm watching a game, like that's what I keep telling some of our bartenders here. They're like, how do you watch football? I'm like, well, which team's your favorite? Neither of them. I go, I don't like either of these teams. Well, then why are you watching? So I can get, I mean, you cannot deny that these are better players than me. So I'm watching to see what they do, how they handle situations. It's just that there's always defense on the field except for special teams. So I get to watch both sides of the ball. Yeah, see, Zachary says he watches the movies for story, acting, and imagery. But like I said, there are people that watch movies just for actors. And they pay attention to the actors' lives and their acting skill. And it's really weird with sports because people will do the same thing. And I'm like, okay, you're a fan of that player. I'm a fan of Luke Kuechly, but he doesn't play anymore. So now it's like, Panthers, yay, because it feels weird when you don't pick a team. So I picked the Panthers, and I have a couple bit of merch. I try to watch soccer here because sometimes I'm watching the early game, the early NFL game that's on at like 2 p.m. East Coast on Sunday because that's 7 here. And it's not airing in the middle of the night. So I watch that, but sometimes there's also a soccer game going really late into the evening. So on the breaks, or they're doing like, oh, let's zero in on this. Was this a pass interference? I was like, it wasn't pass interference. Nobody calls pass interference on the Patriots. And so I'll watch the soccer game for a little while and I'll try to figure it out. But I don't, and I watch a lot of Olympics. Like, I don't think I'm alone in watching random sports. Sometimes when at the gym, I'll watch, what is this? The Dutch do it with billiards. What is it called? It's not 8-ball. It's something Dutch billiard variant. Royal Dutch Billiards Federation. Of course there is. There's something that's always like on at the gym, and I don't know. It's snooker. There's a Dutch Snookers Championship, and they love airing that at the gym. So sometimes I'm in the middle of sets and I'm watching them play snooker, and I'm like, "What is this sport? At least it's not korfball." But I do watch other sports if they're on, except for like the Tour de France, because it's just bicycling. I can't. Same thing with F1. I don't really get it here. I like watching the highlights and the crashes, but like I never get into F1. And like with soccer, I could try, but I need to have a crowd around me to kind of know when to get excited, because when I see a score of 1-0 at the end of a soccer game, I don't know if that, and they're like, oh my God, that was a really tight game. I was like, obviously, but they spent 90 minutes to get 1 goal. I'm like, oh no, they scored actually 8 times, but only 1 of them counted. I'm sorry, what? Like, this confuses me. You can negate goals? Is that what the red card is? And like, no, the red card, and plus I can't with their injuries. Actually, the first time at Groningen out on the town after the game, I was actually explained in very, very Dutch manners from my quarterback why soccer sucks. He pulled out major hipster dad that it's just a game of injuries now. Whoever can fake the injury the most. What are we eating? I just realized it's like 6:50. And you're eating. I probably shouldn't, like.
I don't know. Pasta wouldn't be very good for stream.
Yeah. That's true. Is it gonna rain? Always bugs me in a movie when there's a really talented actor who's only in it for 5 minutes and they have a nothing role. You need to look up the term random Matt Damon. Random Matt Damon cameos. There's at least 10 of them on this list from Screen Rant. Eurotrip, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Thor Ragnarok, The Majestic, Finding Forrester, the third wheel, Unsane, Confessions of a Danger. Oh, whatever. Yeah, he's in like so many movies. But like, Matt Damon's a really talented actor. Obviously, he can be. Yeah.
Burgers?
From where though? Like, I don't know which burgers we'd have.
Cheese sauce. We don't have to have extra fries with them.
I know. I was trying to think of something a bit more solid than burgers. Burgers is because the one I get is so goopy because they don't allow for other toppings really. Anyways, we got to focus on dinner here rather than. I was gonna say, what about that bowl thing? We just get a falafel for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get a burger from them if you want. Because it is burgers and bowls, right?
Bowls and burgers, but yeah.
It's just, ah! Yeah. And then there should be, I think there's a spicy bowl with falafel.
Falafel, potato wedges, broccoli, paprika, tzatziki, and royal toufras and hanout. What is that? Thanks. Ras el hanout.
Oh, I was just looking up tooth. Is it tough? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at their actual menu on their website, not through Couch Resort. It's the spices. Arabic pronunciations. The spice mix found in varying forms of Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. The Arabic name means head of the shop. Implies a mixture of the best spices the seller has to offer.
Okay.
So it's probably just like, this is our creme de la creme of spices, or something like that. Yeah, but the tzatziki falafel is fine. It says vegan tzatziki sauce, but it's mainly just okay. That's fine. But yeah, so back to like statistics of football. I'm not sure if where are you? Dirty 30 says most of the lines for all the first round QBs are ranked below top 50. And that's part of the issue is that QBs need to learn the ins and outs of things. Like, you can be the Heisman winner quarterback and have everything expected of you to go into your first and second season and flop because you're not prepared for the NFL level, because Division One is not NFL. And we can see that primarily in Marcus Mariota. Like, I know that one because everybody from Oregon that is all on the Ducks train because they happen to be winning just go crazy. You know, they're like, Mariota, Mariota. And I'm just like, where's he now? How long have we been married? Well, this June makes 3 years for actual marriage.
Yeah.
We've been together for probably 15. Kind of lost track at this point. Yeah, we shouldn't have, but we didn't really have a set date to begin with. It just sort of happened. Just to give you a wild idea, Zachary, about Matt Damon, he is listed as being in 92 things, going all the way back to 1998. And it's like he is at that point of being like he should be the head runner, like in The Martian or Jason Bourne, but like, yeah. What Aaron said, yeah. Anniversaries must happen on this specific day. Like, had an interesting idea for a pandemic-based horror movie. Achtentwintig dagen later? He hated me for saying that one. He's looking so sad at his keyboard typing that. Achtentwintig, 28 dagen, days, later, 28 days later. Far from it. Well, that is a pandemic-based horror movie. But yeah, anyways, back to statistics is that, like I said, squishy things like people don't like to be categorized very well. You can write down statistics for them. You can, like, someone can run a really fast 40 time, but that doesn't translate well to football. They can have a high agility time and a low, you know, they could do a good 3 cone drill and a good back and forth drill and then a shuttle drill and have a really bad 40 and be way better at football than the person who ran a good 40 but kind of got mediocre on the other two. A good stand, like I said, all of the stats are for, you know, when you put them all together, and then, but that's the thing is you're taking a bunch of numbers that are quasi somewhat related and you're trying to move them into an overall stat. And it's like, it gets really weird when you try to apply stats to squishy things. Like it's almost like quantum idea. The moment you do stats for squishy things, they say F you and they go against it and they do better or worse. The moment you observe it, it becomes unobservable. Cronenberg's type body horror about someone trapped in their house with hypochondria and they hallucinate their body falling apart around them. Where have I heard that name before? Oh, all the deep Trekkies that are on YouTube reference that probably maybe Federation president guy from Discovery season 3 is Cronenberg. And I'm like, why are you guys calling him Cronenberg? Is that his name? That's not his name in the show. And they're like, oh, the great David Cronenberg. I'm like, who the f is this guy? I literally never heard of the guy until about a year ago when Discovery came out and he showed up on the screen and people were like wigging out over it. And I had to Google who he was because apparently he's a big deal. And now I'm suddenly like, I don't really like the fact that people are so into him as an idea, as an actor or designer of things, that they rename his in-universe character to his real name. It's sort of like, oh, he's Dr. Cumberbatch. No, it's Dr. Strange. Not Dr. Cumberbatch or Benedict Strange. Stop that. Have you considered coaching when you're done playing? Absolutely. If as my Dutch is increasing, I said, if I get better at Dutch, I will get better at Dutch over time. Will I be able to take the entrance exam? No. I have to go through actual certification for that, but all in good time. But if I get better at my Dutch, I could probably coach the youth team for Hilversum or wherever we happen to be living. I mean, there are reasons I probably can't do it for the Amsterdam Panthers, but who knows? Maybe I could do it for the Crusaders. Because, this is a great apartment, but it's still renting. And there are certain freedoms in this city that allow from owning, but we don't really have the kind of money for that right now. So, but it's entirely possible that we'll get something in Joudas or West even and whatnot. So that might be in our more price range. And that would put me further away from getting to Hilversum and it would be closer to the Crusaders and I could coach their youth team when I'm done. Like high school teams. Well, they don't have high school teams here. They have youth up to the age of 18 and then you go to the senior team. And the youth team is divided up into 2-year gaps. So you have like in Germany, they have the U13, the U15, the U17, and the U19. It's under and then the age. At the age of 19, you move on to the senior teams. So that's, U13 is usually when you start wearing pads in Germany. Other than below that, you're playing flag, or you're whatever. But at 13 is when they start wearing pads, and then so that's like 12 and 13, and then there's the 14, 15 group, and then the 16, 17 group, and then the 18, 19 group. So if your club is big enough, you can have multiple groups like that. But it's kind of hard to get your 14 and 15-year-olds competing against 16 and 17-year-olds. They're just literally a physical difference between the kids. So I'm from the States too. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I get your confusion. I totally get the confusion. Yeah, there's no school sports here. Schools, like the Montessori school by our old apartment, had a soccer field, had a soccer cage on the side of it, like big high fence, because you know these kids just love to. Anyways, and it had the steel things at the end of the field, and it was like a half-sized soccer field, but it was just there for like physical education recess purposes, and like it was open for public use. I'd sometimes seen small kid classes doing football there. Nobody ever played hockey there. But like there's a field over there that the college and I think the older Bassa school kids might use for sports and stuff. I saw them playing flag football the other day. That was weird. I'll tell you this, none of those kids could throw a football. They have no idea how to throw anything. They've never thrown anything in their life, at least overhand. They've always done the weird like underhand, because I just sat there and watched for a second. I'm like, all right, this is the most Dutch thing I've seen in a long time. But yeah, the schools do not have sports. If you play a sport, you play for a local club. Where that lacrosse team was actually within a large sports complex. And people that live around that area would go and you would play your sport there for that team. And there was numerous soccer fields and, you know, some of the clubs. And like, that's why we're not associated with a school. We're ASC Hilversum Hurricanes. We have softball, baseball, and American football, and we have a youth team for American football. And so like the kids from Hilversum that want to learn to play football can come together and come to our club, but they sometimes go to different schools. Hilversum's kind of a small city, but yeah. But that's the thing. Like in the larger cities, you have neighborhood teams. In smaller cities, you just have the city. So you don't play for, I'm trying to think of a high school. You don't play for Evergreen High School. You play for the East Vancouver Plainsmen or whatever it wants to be called. And any person who's around, now it just happens to be that there is probably a high school or a college in that area. But it's entirely possible that your college is going to take you across town. You know, and I use college loosely because I still don't quite know how it fits here, because there's like 15-year-olds going to college, but college isn't the right word for things here. And the Dutch term for hogeschool, high school, is up there. Like that's like people in their 20s, because it's a high school. But secondary education, where sports is mainly done, they don't have their own sport fields. So yeah, I knew about that when I was watching German stuff, that they would go to like one of my friends went to, I guess it would be a trade school in Bavaria to learn. I forget what he was learning. No, he went to he was working with the military to be a mechanic. And sometimes he couldn't make it to practice or a game because the military would have him go to northern Germany to work on some boats. So then he'd come back down to Bavaria and he'd go play for his local team, the Landsberg Express. But just because he lives in Landsberg doesn't mean he has to play for them. He, after a while, went to Augsburg, which is 10 miles away. Not too far with a car, but yeah. So much like in the States, there is semi-pro is a weird name to call it, because everywhere else, like there is no semi-pro lacrosse. There is no semi-pro. So, I mean, there might be, and they may be somewhat paid. And down in California, Texas, and Florida, and a little bit in the New York area, there might actually be paid football teams, but they're compensated for travel versus like fully paid. So it's a bit weird, but most semi-pro is basically club sports. They pay money into the club and the club then uses that to rent the fields and buy equipment and make sure that they keep up with the local regulations and stuff and, you know, pay the referees. Now, 'Is that severe? Yes, we're at 11. too short, doesn't have that big a brain. No, he's got a great little brain. It's just that he's usually busy on Sundays. Because I remember on Thursday, we were like, okay, see you guys Sunday. And over here, he's on the other side of the huddle. He goes, wait, I think I can make it. Like he was so happy he could be able to make it. But yeah. So you can imagine if, now we're going to go a little bit extra in this explanation. I've already explained that they don't have it. But can you imagine your school and all of your schools in your area, if they were not tied to spending so much land space and effort into promoting the sports, left that to a neighborhood association? I don't want to say like an HOA or, those groups of people that say your lawn must be no more than 2 inches up the hand and then make sure that you, not those, but like a group, like the Zachary's from Indianapolis, like the South Indianapolis Indians. It's a bad name. It's a bad name in the 2021 world, but that sort of idea. And you would just play lacrosse for that team for anybody who wants to play from that area, despite the fact that you guys may go to different high schools. And that high school is no longer bound to supplying the sports and keeping up the fields. They may have a gym just for like physical education. But that gym is like a basketball and maybe some stuff. It's just like the similar stuff you do in PE. And maybe there's a small field outside for, kicking the ball around. But Montessori schools are weird. Okay. Give me a bit. Actually, I'm going to use my computer. It's better. Yes, I had to scroll back to make sure you were the one that asked about lacrosse. I'm actually going to look up the fee for that lacrosse team. Like, how much does it cost? History, competition, practice and fun, Studentensport Amsterdam. Amsterdam Lacrosse is a member of the Studentensport. Student members of Amsterdam Lacrosse get a discount on their contribution fee. Okay, so if you are a student specializing in sport, which the Dutch word sport means exercise. So if you're studying physio, or, for being like, helping someone fix their arm, or if you're studying just to kind of work in a gym and help people physically train to become better, or you want to work in much the more medical side of sports medicine sort of thing, you actually get a discount at this club. So, no. By the way, also, side note, ADD is going crazy here. There is a whole thing. They love, like, there's a whole college here devoted to sport and wellness. You can just go to school, and everybody at that school is for sports and wellness. News, contact boards, committees, youth. Where are you? Oh, okay. English below. Cool. I'm not going to worry about translating that. It does not say how much. What do we got here? Your youth team lacrosse is a fast, tactical team sport played with a stick. It explains the sport there. Currently, the youth trains weekly on Fridays from 6:15 p.m. to 7:45 p.m., so an hour and a half. Are you between the ages of 9 and 16 years old and would like to participate? Send an email to this thing on Saturday, 17 October. Because that's when their team starts. How much does it cost? I mean, things have been sort of on the cray-cray right now with Corona and whatnot. Hello, Daniela. Actually, doesn't say how much. Lowlands Committee, Board, President, Contact, Clinics. Still does not. Club fee lacrosse Amsterdam. like for American football for the entire year for adult, it costs me 250. And some of my friends at the Philip at the bar, he's like 250? Like, yeah, for a year. That's like totally cheap for football. And he's like, dude, that's pretty expensive. And like I know for like soccer, sometimes it's only like 80. Lockdown is not gone per se. It's pulling away. And there's a vaccine. How's the sports going? Sports are going fine. I have practice tomorrow. This will be my third Sunday so far. So the last two live streams have been before practices, which is why they will end at this thing will end at 9 o'clock. Dinner will be here soon. It does not actually say. Weird. But yeah, it's going fine. I blew my cleats out and got a tab open for cleat size. There's Matt Riley. But it's May for football, and we're not going to have a current season that I can't say anything because the AFBN hasn't said anything. So but if because of how things are going, if they want to go back to normal and not completely reset when the season happens, we will most likely be having a 2022 season, which will take place somewhere between February and July in 2022. The official practice season for that would start in September. And then we'd have some preseason games and whatnot, have a break for December while people do the holiday stuff, and then come back for January. Hopefully all the vaccines and stuff will be done by then. So I'm in break on Bray 6. Cool. Must be that Massachusetts accent. You even smirked on that one. But yeah, so I'm at May. We are in May right now. That was that's my ADD and a little hungry. A lot of water. That kicked in. So at May, we're looking at June, July, and August. I'm not sure if we're going to take a break necessarily due to the hot months. We usually goes up to July. The first weekend in July is when the Tulip Bowl happens, and then we have 2 months off. So I'm not sure because we haven't had much in the previous part of the year. It may be just one of those of like, we're not doing anything but relatively organized club activities until September. I think that's what we're going to be doing. So mainly what we're doing now is just cardio, box jumps, and making sure that our fitness level gets back up there. And, we can work on explosion and stuff and working against the sleds. So that's what I'm doing right now is going slow, getting back out of the Corona slump and working on form, doing all that stuff because I've got months before the official practice season starts. So that's what's going on with that. I have not been vaccinated yet. I know that the UK is ramping up its vaccinations. I've seen the graph of what they're calling Western nations on vaccination levels, and there's like this massive line of like European countries, and then like the USA shot up, and then the UK shot up, and then they were doing this thing. I'm like, basically, this is just a fight between the US and the UK to see who can vaccinate faster. We're over here in the Netherlands been like, okay, like I just saw a news report that we've had 8 million of 17 million vaccinated. I'm like, what? Apparently there's a ton of old people here in this country. And, high risk groups. I mean, high risk medical and the service workers and but it's still like stretching pretty thin here, folks. I want to share the post. Oh, come on. And I guess I thought I could like figure out how much it would cost. I just don't really want to send an email off because it might initiate. I think the generalized joke is there's no I in lions because there's no I in Leuvens. There's no I in the Dutch word for lions. but anyways, in terms of like the money, it's not that much because a lot of school sports fund it, but a lot of youth players, get a small fee. I mean, plus poverty isn't as bad here as it is in the States. There is poverty here, but the social networks work pretty well. And I'm not necessarily sure if you are on the low ends of things and you're like, I want my kid to be in a sport. And they'll be like, okay, how about 40 euros the entire year? I could return bottles for that. I'd be paying a lot, but I could return bottles for that. Of course, I don't. Regardless, like when you're looking at like 250 for American football for a guy for an entire year, that's less than $1. That's less than $1 a day. So, and that helps keep the club's lights on and all that stuff. And like, I think Hilversum has. I think our website has the prices for the youth. Nope. I swore I saw it somewhere. Sponsoring? No. History. American football. Were you? Like, I was actually looking through the website the other day and I was just like, can we like update some of our pictures? Because Scotto is still on the youth team's photo and he's been playing for the adult teams for 2 years. Is it under Forladen? Oh, there it is. Contributie. Is this? Please translate for me, please. Yeah, so Seniorin, yeah, 250. I don't know what LEAT stands for. Oh, double member. Oh, if I wanted, for example, softball and baseball member, single member of both sports federations, e.g. baseball and American football. That's the triple. Oh, okay. But like the yoked, the under 18 are 185. That's cheap. That's 50 cents a day. So, and like I said, American football is more expensive. Plus, if you have sponsors, you may be able to cut that down even more. Schools don't really have sponsors. They sometimes do, they sometimes don't. It's that's the benefit of having club sports, is you can have sponsors and have wonderful things and have nice fields and stuff. Sleep. I don't know what to do. Is Justin on right now? Message. Active an hour ago. What is the club fee for youth in the Pirates? I cannot spell today. See if his my fee here in NL for AF as not AFAS. Apparently AFAS Live is a vaccination center. I was walking up to the thing and it's just like Vaccinazi here. I'm like, can I just walk in there right now, please? Like, I'm not necessarily saying that like Germany and Netherlands have similar pricings, but hopefully here. Anyways. I'm going to go get that crappy drink. I don't know if it's crappy. I've never tried it, but the ingredients are chonky. Apple balls. Oh, you got a thing for YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, coming back. It's one of those drinks I got. It's not alcoholic. It's a drink I got because I was thinking Matt Peterburg would be wonderful to see me drink something crazy. Because he used to come in and ask, what are we drinking tonight? And I'm not drinking before the night before practice, so I'm going to be drinking something that could very well be very nasty. Just clear my mouth a little bit from the taste. Well, when you've got orange juice that has full pulp in it, this is still thicker than that. Although it's still considered juice. That looked delicious. The pear, mango, and mint. Like, the pear and the mango juice are just regular juices, but every chunk in there is. What's that?
Bread and butter.
Oh. Oh, wow. For the entire bottle, it's 227 calories. Dang. It's the mango. That's what it is. Oi. Oh.
Do I need to try it?
You never need to try anything. That was a little bit of anger on my part. You don't need to try anything. If you want to, you can.
I'd like to.
Okay. Look at that eyebrow. That eyebrow. He doesn't know what to do.
It's not bad. But I don't think I drink it. Oh, or much of it.
I feel like it's one of those things I need to drink before I eat something good so that I don't like get a weird taste out of this one. After having like tzatziki and stuff. Still remember that is a TikTok.
Tell me you had a good football practice without saying, I had a good football practice. I'll go first. My drink with lemon and ginger in it is super sweet.
And then I just chug about 100 milliliters of it. Because it tasted like, because I was so exhausted after practice that ginger and lemon and pure green tea didn't affect my taste buds at all. It was just pure agave syrup. It's all I could taste. Matt Riley's probably going to love this one.
If you had coffee as a meal today, you need to go have another meal because why? This bitch is empty.
It's supposed to be because coffee's not a meal. Sorry, what? Coffee's not a meal? Yes. No, coffee is a meal. But yeah. I was talking with my sister about TikTok, and she goes, I don't have that many followers, but I don't post that much. But your stuff's hilarious. Look at you with 400 followers. I'm like, I'm not looking for followers. I'm just trying to make absolutely stupid things. Just absolutely stupid. Sometimes I'm raging about Americans thinking that their heritage is their identity. And the Europeans are like, no, you know nothing about Irish culture. You're not Irish. You're Irish American. But which break were you on, Matt? Are you already gone? I'm surprised that more clubs don't actually. I mean, I guess it's one of those, maybe they can't actually say their club fee. I mean, the Hilversum does, so it's not against the law. But it is a little buried in there. See if the Crusaders is actually more. I love how it says Amsterdam Crusaders since 1984. And people are like, oh, is it the oldest team? Yeah, but not too terribly soon after that, in 1985, the Hilversum Hurricanes started. Oh my God, the Crusaders can go F themselves. Every month, the Amsterdam Crusaders organize trial lessons for new players. We all started like this once. Everything was new and different. American football is a team sport for everyone. It is challenging and playing at different age categories. Whether you are 10 years old or already 30, you're very welcome. Exactly. Victoria talked about Irish American. That's the thing that I was following. Because the FYP today there has been bouncing around with one Irish guy and other Europeans responding to. It's been bouncing around. I've been seeing the net of complaints that many folks in the United States consider Europe to have stopped when their ancestors emigrated. So that when they go to Ireland or Italy, they're expecting to have the Ireland and Italy they heard about from their grandparents or their great grandparents, and they go there and they're like, what? Like there's a great number of people in the South that are Irish Americans and celebrate Irish traditions that have been changed by Americans and go, by living in America for 2 or 3 generations. And then they go visit Ireland and it's really liberal, really progressive. And, it's like the people are like, oh yeah, I had a grandfather that came from the Netherlands. I just love Heineken. You come here and people are like, you mean the stuff we pass around because what? It's piss water. Nobody likes Heineken around here. People that actually drink beer drink something else. It's the tourists that drink Heineken because there's a Heineken brewery experience. Nobody goes for the Hertog brewery experience. Nobody goes to Belgium for the Trappist beer experience. They go to Amsterdam for the Heineken experience. Yeah, and that's the thing is like saying it's an Irish American culture is fine, but go with 1910. You had an ancestor that came over. That Irish heritage came over, wasn't dealing with Ireland for probably 40 years. Maybe heard about it in the news, but wasn't living in Ireland and dealt with other people and created a mosh pit. They brought their bits of Ireland, and the Polish brought theirs in, and the Germans brought theirs in, and the Mexicans brought theirs in, and the Spanish and the French and all that stuff. They all brought theirs in and created an American culture. And you still you have an excitation in the Irish department of the Walmart. But that doesn't mean you're Irish. And you understand that. I'm not complaining to you, but there are many that are like, oh, I'm Irish American, I'm Irish. And people in Ireland are like, no, you're not. You're not. You'd be voting with the Tories left and right. How versions of languages spoken in the New World are now older than languages spoken in the Old World. This falafel is really good. Here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it. You could press your finger on that one. That'll be their spices.
Yeah,
We're good. I'm trying to. I get it, kind of, but I really don't understand. Okay. If you guys hear that vibrate, that's just people checking in for tomorrow. And I don't want to mute the chat. Aaron's typing something over there. I'm going to continue thinking about that. Wait for it. He just hit enter, so. So, like, I get what you mean, but you have to think of this. I mean, I ran the most BS thing to compounding generations. Now I understand. So I assumed that in 1900, some immigrants came from Hamburg, Germany, fully German, many years. Hamburg, northern Germany, big port. I chose that one because that's where my dad's grandfather emigrated from. His family came from Poland through Hamburg, anyways. But they're German. They come over here and they're doing other stuff. They're doing their indentured servitude. it's indentured servitude to white people. It's slavery for black people. But they do that and they get out and they go on their own. They start living the American dream. Well, okay, so let's say they're 20 years old and they don't win. They wait till like they're 30 to have a kid. Well, that kid is full-blooded German because you have no mixings. But we got up to people my age, we're already looking at like 1/16 of the ancestor, let alone whatever's been mixed in from whomever, whenever. And it's like, what? Like, I couldn't. Like, that's kind of a blessing that I'm adopted. That was from 1900. I can't imagine 1800. You'd be down at smidgens. Like, that's my official scientific term, smidgens. 1/28 maximum as a size of your ancestor that emigrated before the Oregon Trail. One of the weirdest things I saw here was, because it's a recessive gene, red hair, you cannot take two gingers and make a ginger. It's strange. And so having red hair can happen on anybody. And seeing someone who's Northern African, Egypt, Morocco, or, Arabian, Northern Sahara, I guess what they're called, and is a natural ginger is fucking weird. So Zachary didn't say anything bad. He just used a stressor. Yeah, it's the only hair color that can occur in any ethnicity, and I've seen, I think one of the things that finally clicked in my head about ethnicity, and that this was about skin color when I was still in the United States, that you can still be black in all of your features but your skin. Because I saw an albino man from Zimbabwe. And he had curly hair. He was lanky. Like, he looked like he could be those guys building, 2-story mud huts in the ground and having extravagant pools. He looked like one of those guys. He was just stark white. Yeah. It's just like when you've got that sort of genetic albinism, especially in dark ethnicities, presents as pale skin. Yeah. And this was weird. Like I said, he was completely white. And I thought like, he had put like the white paint on him or white powder to do that sort of thing. But then, like, it wasn't. It was that kind of, it's albinism. And I've seen a couple people on TikTok that are genetically Arabian, but they've got skin whiter than mine because they actually have that genetic disease, or they have that disease that kind of chews away at their pigmentation over their lives. So like when they're young kids, they start having like the weird splotches that move around their face, and his happens to be showing up down on his belly. And I was like, man, ocular albinism, it only occurs in African people. Like I said, and that's just part of the crazy thing, that is like there's so many similar genetic things that can happen cross cultures. And it's demonized in one way and it's celebrated in another. And you're like, it's the same thing. I think that's what it is, Vitiglio. But people, like, he says he's gotten bullied, and I watched the video. He says he's gotten bullied because nobody believes him because he wears shirts. And it only, most other people have it kind of around the lips and it starts showing up around the nose and kind of spreads through there around their face. But his is showing up down on his belly area, and he lifts his shirt and looks like he's being depixelated. Zachary, okay, what was he straining? What did he use that word for? Maybe get show. On a detective work learning about my Norwegian ancestors, managed to get in touch with the people who own the farm my great ×3 grandma was born on. Okay, I guarantee you, whatever culture you think the Norwegians have from your ancestors, they don't have anymore. But that's the arrogance of many Americans with their European heritage, is the fact that they put Europe in a time stasis, and that they can just go back and relive the old days. I'm like, no. Like I think it was today when we watched another one, he was just like, you guys seem like you just froze time, and that we're considered the old world, the motherland, that you come here and everything is old and creaky and ancient looking. And I'm like, that's true if you go to Dom Square, except I guarantee you stuff at the Bijenkorf, the Bijenkorf is like super fancy. Like they've got Adidas tracksuits for 600 euros. Like, holy shit. I look out here and I'm like, I don't know what, like there's not, like literally this island has been built in the last 2 years, and this is the heart of the Netherlands. There's nothing old and creaky and, the old art and the skinny little buildings. I can go visit those. We lived in one, but, it's sort of like, oh, well, I cannot believe this old building has Wi-Fi. It's a stock exchange. Well, how does it not have Wi-Fi? The Rijksmuseum looks wonderful. You can bike through it. You and I have walked through it? Did we bike through it at one point, or?
Maybe.
But we've walked through it multiple times. It looks wonderful, wonderfully historic. But it's basically OMSI on the inside when they've got the right thing set up. Redheads have a very poor history throughout the world. Especially in the medieval ages during the Salem witch trials. You were automatically a witch if you had red hair. I know, because it's, and that's part of my thing, is like, I'm seeing so many people utilizing heritage and physical characteristics to divide each other for just the dumbest reasons. Yeah, that's another thing. They think, they look at the pictures of Buckingham Palace and, London Tower, and then the bridge, and then they see those rolling hills with the little cobblestone, the little stone low walls that kind of divide everything. And then you see the wide fields in the Netherlands that are just like straight lines with canals in between them. And I'm like, those are not canals. Those are sloches, and they smell beyond all belief. And everything, it's just all the farming is spread out for years, and you see the roads and you see Kokenhof and it looks nice. But then like you go inside someplace and you're like, there's tech here in the grocery stores that doesn't exist in the States. Aaron's over there nodding. But I'm like when we moved out of Beaverton, they were starting to introduce the little hand scanner thing. And like nobody did it. Nobody was like, whoa, you want me to carry around a little computer that tracks everywhere where I am and I scan all my food and blah, blah. Yeah. I haven't done it here. But every day that goes by, every day I go grocery shopping, I'm like, I should really pick one of those up. They're just
Our cell phones can do it with the app.
I'm still on the issue of having cell service in some Albert Heijns.
Yeah.
But like I can do it with, I've seen so many people do it. But that's the thing is but the reverse happens. The reverse happens. And I have seen that happen in the last 6 months. I turned off Facebook on my phone. I rarely log into it on the thing. And I look at Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and the occasional news article that comes up, and then various YouTube videos from people. So I have a really crazy idea about what's going on in the States. But I understand the States. The people that have only been to the States for vacation purposes, like they've gone to Walt Disney World, or they've gone to New York and only spent time in like 7 fucking blocks of Manhattan. And they're like, yeah, I've been to America. Where are you from? Portland. Oh, is that near New York? No. And they don't get it. Yeah, it's not the government tracking us that we need to worry about. It's the corporations they need to worry about tracking you. The government can't keep track of its own troops. You think it's going to keep track? You think, no, it's the corporations that are keeping track of you. No. Everything is going good. I'm eating a healthy bowl. I had a protein shake earlier before as I left Decathlon, so I've got protein in my system even though I'm eating broccoli, bell peppers, fries, and falafel. It's tasty. How's that one? Okay. Our first ones we had from this were like a little bit weird. The steak was a little undercooked for my liking, but they didn't have an option to get well done or charcoal briquette. So I decided, let's go with falafel. You can't really undercook falafel. It pretty much, you can eat that stuff raw. It's just chickpeas. Yeah, I don't. As I explained on one of my first TikToks, I don't care about people corporations or the government tracking me. I have location services. I've always had location services turned on my phone. I let so many websites know my location. I'm not quiet on this YouTube channel about where I live. Anybody who, and that's part of the issue that people have with their secrecy. The more they overtly tell people they're hiding it, the more people want to know. I show people where the skate park is. I say I live on Zeeburger Island. First of all, spell that. And then once you see Zeeburger Island, then you can see where the skate park's located. Look at a picture that I've shown numerous times on my YouTube channel, out my balcony, and you can be like, okay, that is where he lives. I have taken, but I don't care. But the fact that I don't care where people know where I live, they don't care to look even further. Yeah. Sometimes my TikTok goes down the German route and I'm just like, this is hilarious. Not today. It hasn't done much on the Germany thing today. Maybe I need to go physically search some Germany posts. And that's like when people, because I know Americans that are vaccinated can now travel abroad. I'm not sure if they have to go into quarantine when they come here. I'm not sure how that goes, but I've already seen a few tourists already in the last week. But now that things are starting to open up and the American tourists are starting to come in, it's sort of like when our friend came, or when our buddy came over, and I was like, okay, so what do you want to see? And he's like, oh, World War II stuff. Like Normandy. I was like, that's an 8-hour train right away, bro. We're probably gonna have to get a hotel to go when we're out there. I don't want to be in a hotel in France. I was already in a hotel in France and it sucked. It felt like a damn prison. Like Aaron couldn't even fit in the damn toilet. The door had to stay open. It was too small. It was like a converted aircraft carrier or something. And it's like you know, and it was okay. So I do not watch Dutch news. I watch British produced YouTube videos about US news, and I watch YouTubers that report on significant, important things. What the news considers important and what Bo of the Fifth Column considers important are drastically different things. Even though they may meet up a lot of times, Bo is going to tell you, you don't need to worry about this because it's just political posturing. Whereas the news is like, we could be at war at any moment. Iran has made the first attack. And Bo's like, yeah, Iran hasn't attacked. They've just sort of gone, and the United States has gone, we're not going to war. We're just thumping to each other, trying to make sure neither of us looks weak at the negotiating table. That's it. But there's a guy similar. You say Lubach is very close to glasses.
Yeah.
I forget his name. He's on HBO. John Oliver. If you like John Oliver, and you can, and I'll type this in because it's easier. If you can find some of his YouTube videos that are that have at least the captions as English, you'll love it. Some of his older stuff is people go through and submit it. Some of the newer stuff isn't. But this guy is a comedian in the Netherlands, very similar. In fact, if you've seen the thing where America first, but Netherlands second, that was produced by him. So, yeah. In terms of what the comedy shows do, and what, like on TikTok, Rogier Bach, what he says about the United States is the United States is a wonderful thing, but there is a lot of things about the United States that need to be fixed. Yes. That's like the one. It took me a little bit to kind of understand what Bo, the Fifth Column, was talking about, that he would much prefer the US not be the world police, but the world's EMT. It took me a little bit to figure out what that meant. It's just one of those things I'm like, I don't really get it. But it's one of those that if I think I listen to it enough and think about it enough, it'll finally reach the parts of my brain that need to. Yay, ADD. But the longer I am out, the more I wasn't even sauced up about the United States to begin with. Like, that ship came into port when I was probably like 8 or 9, and it was just like the United States and the Catholic boat were trying to come in and indoctrinate me in 2 different ways, and I just went, I'm sorry, this isn't happening. I'm watching Star Trek. And like, just hit them both out of the way, and I never really got into it. And then it just, like, I kept finding these things where it's like, let me just open up this door and I'm going to pull this out. There's nothing here. I'm going to finish a little thing that just sort of like threw me over the edge about the United States, and it started a little bit of a snowball. I had faith in the U.S. government when I was a kid. We're looking like sub 10 years old. You just do. You have no reason to doubt it because you don't understand the bad that's happening. It's bliss. Ignorance is bliss. And then I was even like, yay, for, Desert Storm. Yay. I was like, this is cool. Iraq invaded Kuwait. We need to go protect Kuwait. Yay. Like, that's what I rationalized. I later learned there was much more involved in that one, but that's how I justified it as a kid. And then I'm like, when we move up to Vancouver, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to go to Catholic high school. I really don't like the Catholic high school folks I don't like we live in a neighborhood now, Mom, not on the farm, and all the kids in the neighborhood go to that school over there. Can I just go to that school instead? Okay, I guess. So I voluntarily held myself back. One, because most of the kids in the neighborhood were 1 year younger than me, and then I'd be in the same grade as them. And two, I thought since they were government funded, the school would be better, and I would be stupid to the advanced public school kids because I also had to deal with a class called religion and not actual intelligence learning stuff. No, I was actually 3 years ahead of where I was. I would have only been 2 years ahead when I've gotten to the normal grade. So that happened in like 1995, and it slid from there. What we got here? We spend a tremendous amount on defense, correct. Military funding, correct. And a lot of it's wasted. That's, like, if you actually look at how much money is productive out of the defense and military funding, it's a travesty. I'm looking over at Aaron, and he's like, that's pretty true. I'd have to say 2/3 of that is just, you could if you trim the fat out of the military and defense funding, you could literally cut that funding that's currently out there by, down to just 2/3 of what it is, and then stop all the private contractors to Raytheon and all that stuff. You could cut that again by another 2/3. But the military is so fucking wasteful with money. And I don't really know how to get on the medical train necessarily because I don't know enough about the system here. However, there are governmental rules concerning the welfare of individuals within the borders of the Netherlands. I say that because I don't know the actual wording, but we are not citizens, we are residents, and we still fall under their protections. Like employer protections and all this stuff, insurance protections. I'll read that in just a second. And so, like, we have to carry personal liability insurance. I have no idea how to get a hold of that if anything were to ever happen. Like if my bike ran over somebody because they fell in front of me because they tried to stop too fast for a car that pulled out. Like, I have no idea how to get a hold of any of that information. I'd probably immediately be on the phone with Aaron and like, bro, I need to help with this liability information stuff. And this would be Aaron.
Okay. I'll call you back.
I'll call you back. We have no idea what to do. But when it comes down to medical, people are like, oh, well, I don't want to have single payer and the government controls my... The government doesn't control my medical. We pay. Like, we're married, but because of the company's ruling, I have to carry my own insurance as a private citizen. And it costs $125 a month, right?
A little less, but yeah.
Well, I have that little extra for the physio that I'm not using this year, but I don't want to cancel it. Or
yeah, a
whatever.
little less though.
We'll call it $125. That's easy multiplications.
Yeah.
because quarters, thirds, sixes, fives, 12s, got it. So 125. That's just out of pocket what I pay. No matter what I get done, my deductible is $385. No matter what I get done. I got a broken collarbone fixed. I had extensive stuff done from that. I have a pretty unique medication that I get prescriptions for, and they just charge it to the deductible. If the deductible gets hit by 385 euros, everything after that is free. And I have the crappiest plan. Okay, what do we got? Propaganda, raising children to believe that America is so star-spangled awesome. And I love that. That's a newsroom reference. Star-spangled awesome. That no other country has better than the U.S. when in fact America has a lot of issues. A lot of countries have a lot of issues. But America is screaming their issues at the top of the lung and saying that they're the best. Just turned 21. I'm living in Tennessee. Because I turned 21, I'm losing my health insurance. I would have lost mine at 24 because my parents had a good enough plan through my dad's. My dad was on the railroad, so I was covered until 24. But I feel you. I'm losing my health insurance, even though I'm still going to university and don't have time to work to pay for another. Not to mention, you're racking up university debt. Because if your parents aren't going to fork out for, your own insurance, they're not rich enough to be paying your way through college, which means you're racking up debts. Even if you have scholarships, I planned it out. Even with all the scholarships I could possibly get by doing Lord knows what of OnlyFans necessary to get whatever I needed to, I'd still accrue debt. Just trying to get a 4 or 6 year degree. Meantime, 21, so we're looking at graduate 18. 19 is your first year. 19, 20, 21. So there's your first 3. If you're going for a master's, you got 3 more years as a master's minimum before you uninsured, completely unable to work. And when you get above master's, you start moving into doctoral, and that gets sort of weird as you start taking like singular courses that last an entire year, and you do like long-term research papers and stuff. Like you become a graduate student. And so you start actually kind of having interns and jobs and stuff, and things get weird at that point. But up to a master's, holy shit. And like Luke was complaining the first time I was here, and he gave me a ride. He's just like, I don't know, I might not be able to pay for the team. And I'm like, really? Why? And he goes, well, it's 250 euros. And I was like, oh, well, that's about how much I paid in the States, because I hadn't actually paid the fee by then. But anyways, and so he was like, yeah, I don't know how I can afford that with college. My brain says 250 euros should not impact your college. Like he was going to a Haveo, whatever, whichever one he was going to for sports medicine. And I was like, man, well, I go, at least you still live with your parents. That way you're not having to worry about that one. And you live in Hilversum, so you have low travel costs. So you can at least use the bus or walk or use a bike or something. He goes, yeah, but the tuition is like $600 a year. And I damn near puked in his car. I was like, I'm sorry, what? He goes, dude, I don't have much job work. I'm physically working out too much. I don't have time to make, have a job that makes $600 a year. I'm like, fucking what? Aaron's over there just like, because I know what you're doing in the car. You're trying to stop from strangling your driver. And like Luke's like 22. One of the rare times I'm getting on Facebook because it lists everybody's birthday. Luke Ferkirk. Also from Blaricum, which is Richville. It's the entire Hui. But oh God. Info about 2021 minus 1998. He is 23, and he's complaining about less than $1,000 a year to go to sports medicine and get himself a bachelor's degree. Yeah, $5,000 a semester. He's talking about $600 a year and still lives with his parents. But to be fair, like I said, it's Dashric. It's a rich neighborhood for the Netherlands. Like I was having a conversation with Niels about the area because one of his friends from the gym who lives out there started up his own gym. And he goes, "Well, you know how Dashric is." I'm like, "Is it a rich area?" He goes, "Well, it's the whole hui." I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's I don't really get it, but I do. How do you know you're rich in the Netherlands? You live in a duplex. Aaron, that's true. No, you actually have your own house with like a yard that goes around your house. Yeah, $5,000 a semester, and like you can get. Well, the Pell Grant only goes up to an associate's degree. Actually looked down because I'm considered poor. My entire college is paid for by the government through financial aid, and my high school GPA and stuff helped. Yeah, but you even admit I lucked out. Yeah, if you're like rickety poor, then there is stuff. But like, there's a great number of people that are in a weird middle ground where their parents don't quite make enough, and you aren't considered by FAFSA to be of your own stuff until you're 24. So if you're between the ages of 18 and 24 and your parents are too rich, but they don't really think you're responsible enough and they won't pay for your college, it's coming out of all pocket because you don't apply for financial aid because your parents do make too much money. That's why I didn't go to college till I was late, because I was a fuck around in high school. My parents didn't want to pay for college because they figured I'd just fuck around and that I wasn't taking it seriously. Yeah. Yeah, I fucked around in high school so much I probably would have eaten my SAT. Like the thought of sitting inside the school auditorium and taking a multiple choice test with a bunch of other people who thought their shit didn't stink pissed me off. That's why I didn't take the SATs. I'm not going to spend the money to take a test. Are you kidding me? Well, so you can get into college. So I can get into the fancy colleges. If I choose to go to college, it's not going to be Western Oregon University. It's one of those things that I decided that in 8th grade, if I'd have actually decided to pick up football in junior high, it probably would have changed a lot more about my life. And it was a simple binary decision, which over the many years of getting really stoned and thinking about things in quietness has made me kind of appreciate the power of a single binary question. And for like Zachary or something, if he's into trying to translate Dutch, Arjen Lubach does have, some.
Did you get distracted?
Kind of. ACT is the highest score you can get is a 36, and I got a 22. And the goal the school wanted for each student to reach was 21. Barely anyone, my 500 student school, got above that. Wow. Those are numbers. I understand the relevance of the numbers in the idea that I can tell you that that dirt is younger than that dirt because that dirt is sitting on top of that dirt. I understand that barely anybody in your school was over 21 score-wise, and that you got just a little bit over that, and the highest score is above that. So, but like paring that down, that's what, divide that by 2, that's 8. That's 11 of 18. 22 over 36 would be 11 to 18. That is a 61%. Just, ow. All the ACT is just how much money you could potentially get for college. Ah, okay. Yeah, because I know like everybody is like, oh, well, the ACT is so much important than the SAT. I'm like, is it? I don't know. I'm not sitting in a quiet room taking a test for 2 hours. I'm gonna get distracted. One of my teachers actually noticed that I did a little bit better if there was like soft music on in the background during a test. Even if it didn't actually help any other student, if it was just dead silent and I could listen to everyone, I like went neurotic in listening to that stuff. My math section brought me down. I think there was 19 in that section. Well, I mean, like I said, 19 is, like, that's pretty good. I mean, considering if 21 is the score and that's supposed to be the average of all your stuff, means you got some sections that were super high and math brought you down, but math wasn't below what the school expected for your average that far. So that's good. I mean, if you got like a 4 on math, I'd be a little, math's not that hard. 15s and 16s on their overall score. Man, wow. Now I've got Owen Wilson saying, wow, stuck in my head. Wow. English and science were in the high 20s, but math bombed out at 19. Science, math. I'm literally just here eating broccoli. I mean, science and English being up there, let's see, what English is mostly learning how to write papers after a certain point, and science is all about writing papers. So, I mean, you could probably get into some decent, report writing with those scores. I don't know what your major is, but usually very good at math. I was even in honors algebra. I always made A's, but I took the ACT and my math was horrible. It's the issue with testing math. I'm doing good, Melvin. How are you? And the issue with testing math is that someone can learn math, can do math wonderfully, but get asked the wrong questions. And the person goes, I didn't quite get what you meant by that one. Huh? And that could be, there's rote memory learning of math, like like regular math. And with algebra, kind of works the same way. But if you switch over and you're good at algebra, or as I like to call it, autistic algebra, most people call it Common Core, but it's actually algebraic thinking. You're really good at algebra and all the concepts that come after that with missing variables and moving things around and making sure that things go in their right proper place. And figuring out that this can be added to that without, as long as that's up. That's just algebraic thinking. So if they try to test you on algebra in the way of old rote memory stuff, it may not work because you understand the concepts and you can translate that to future things. You may not be able to vomit it back up on command. Switched my major twice. I was in nursing to begin with and then switched to biology with a minor in Spanish. And finally switched art as my major and kept Spanish minor. So nursing, then biology, then art. Starting to think that, plus you were really, plus you had really good English scores, but your math wasn't that, your math concepts are good. Your math regurgitation may not be that good. I mean, that sounds like something like, you could be, you might be interested in like Journey to the Microcosmos or something. The artistic aspect of science, viewing how microbes do their thing and swirl around each other and move throughout things. Watch them develop or devour an entire small little being. Could be pretty cool. Biology and art. I mean, to be fair, having I'm just thinking like all the various things of like just painting, knowing how the biology functions could make you better at art because you understand living proportions to an extent. In the middle of sculpting something, you're like, let alone the physics involved in sculpting. There's no way that lion's head is going to be held up by that neck. I need more clay. Chemistry is why I switched. No matter how much I studied or took a lot extra tutoring, I almost failed every single exam. Chemistry is special. Chemistry is the weirdest. It's weird that after a fashion, physics is applied math. Chemistry is applied physics. Because after a fashion, you're really only dealing with the fundamental forces of physics. You're dealing with electrons and positive and negative charges and the strong force and the weak force and all that happy jazz. And then biology just puts a bunch of chemicals together and, gives them somewhat sentience. But chemistry actually almost harkens back in how you have to think about it with math. And a lot of that is math computation. So conceptualizing math pretty well would make you really good at physics. Computational math may not put you very well, because like writing a large equation on the board and figuring out where all the missing pieces are, like Sheldon has done on a whiteboard for numerous occasions, would probably be pretty good with spatial reasoning, such as art and grandiose concepts of biology. However, when you get down into chemistry, you're looking at much more nitty-gritty numerical stuff, like looking at your damage meter on a MMORPG. You're nitpicking little things, and it can get really tiring fast if you're not neurotic like that. But like, there's so many things in the science world that you could get involved in that require spatial reasoning, like figuring out a better that right there. I'm pointing to it correctly on the camera. That is spatial reasoning. That's spatial mind put into science. Aaron's nodding. Like, tell me someone in the art department designed a periodic table. Scientists have so many different ways they could probably put it together, but this one is visually pleasing. So like coming up with design ideas on how to better describe biological science concepts could be a wonderful career. Because, I mean, it's stupid, but you can put the periodic table in a line. Just have it numerically based on atomic number. Wouldn't look as pretty. Certainly couldn't make a poster out of it, depending on the block size. But yeah. Oh man, I was gonna go by and figure out if Burgers Anonymous is open tomorrow. I checked on Google, but it just said that hours may vary due to Sonntag. And I'm like, well, shit, it didn't tell me anything. Yay, factories are done. Yay. Like the only thing European train I'm jumping on right now is Drago State and Day is about being the European anthem. I'm like, that's totally fine. I love that song. But like some of the US, US expats, I'm actually even starting to change my thing because of Canadians. I'm blaming the Canadians for this one. Don't call them Americans, even though they say it themselves. Like everybody says the Americans, but it's actually part of the Luis is from Peru, and he's technically South American. But we can't say, oh, the North Americans, because that involves Canada, and they don't want to be associated with the United States. So I can't be like the American aspects, even though everybody knows who the fuck I'm talking about. The American tourists. And we all know what we're talking about. If I said in Dutch, "Ik kom uit Amerika," they'd know exactly where I came from, even though that's an entirely large area. But I keep thinking, like, I gotta say, at least the U.S. expats are they're like bonking the freak out over Eurovision. And I'm like, I get it. It's an amazing song contest thing. I'm not really into song contests, but it's like they're trying to force themselves to like it because all their European friends like it. I'm like, that's not a good way to do things, especially not around the Dutch or the Germans. They don't like people being false. But like, I like some of the songs that come out of it. I'm just not going to watch it because it's just exhausting to watch it and get hyped up for it. Nah. Okay. Yeah, like that mom from The Hague, she got like a press pass to Eurovision, and a couple other people are traveling all the way to Rotterdam, and they're like, "Oh my God, Eurovision's in! Yay, look at it, it's Eurovision!" I'm like, "Okay, Eurovision." I want all of you to gack out over ADA next time it gets together. Please, I want to see like Yovi, the perfect like mom, the Midwestern suburban mom who thinks things are just so peachy, to go hang out in the middle of Amsterdam and deal with the largest electronica EDM festival, which basically takes up the entire city. Please be a reporter for that one. Please tell me what you think.
And remember, this is for science. So be honest.
Yeah. Like, but I gotta give it up. I love how like you could easily say, the Dutch, a DJ in every family. And you're not being, it's not wrong. Like, it's just, and like some of the Dutch are just like, oh yeah, well, I know I'm not going to make it big. I like DJing. It's really cool. What? Oh yeah. Sometimes when I don't have when I can't do DJing stuff because I'm getting a little sick of it, I go out and I, skateboard. You're 35. Yeah, DJing, working at a bar, skateboarding, 2 kids, a wife, own my own home. The hell is this country? You dress like you popped out of the 90s. They had great fashion. What the fuck? You're still wearing skinny jeans at the age of 35. What the hell? At this point, at 35, I had to start wearing leggings. I couldn't wear skinny jeans anymore. Things were getting large and in charge. I love that they do boxing lessons out there.
Huh.
There's the two.
Yeah, I see 'em.
Like, I've not seen a full-on class come out there, but they pull out the little hand paddle things and they go at it with each other. It's not an official class, but whatever. It's just, what was that ad I saw? I had to take a picture and send it to Dario, and maybe my phone kept it in Google Photos. It was just the weirdest ad. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? Please explain. What is this, Dario? Please explain. I think it was during the pandemic. He and I have talked a lot during things, so I'm not gonna try to scroll back in the chat with him. Oh, I bet I can Google that one. Amsterdam Fight Club. Yep. I saw an ad for Amsterdam Fight Club and NASM, and I was like, "What the fuck? What is this? What is this? Do you not know the first rule of Fight Club?" And he's like, "That's not. It's for kickboxing. We don't do that whole, underground Fight Club thing. We make a club out of it and let people go at it. We don't need to hide it to protect our masculinity." I'm like, you fucking just said it. I'm down there. He goes, where did you find that anyways? And it was on like a button pole to cross the big street next to Weilmer Arena. And he's like, that's a weird place. That's awfully far out to, be advertising such a thing. I'm like, well, it's right near the arena. If anybody's coming around here for like decathlon on their bike, maybe they're going to see that and say, hey, I live kind of near that area, or I work in that area. Maybe I'll go up there and start, kicking the crap out of people safely. He's like, well, I guess that works. It just seems really far away to be advertising your local club. I'm sitting here as like the American being like, local is something within your own city, like within the borough of your city. It's not like I'm sitting here and be like, oh, it's local. The entire Portland area is local to me because it's K2 local news. And I hear about everything from Salem to Longview. Whereas when they say local here, they mean within 500 meters of my front door. What? Aaron's over there laughing. He's like, that's pretty much what it is. Maximum a whole kilometer. Maximum.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, I don't have any grocery stores or any good grocery stores local to me, even though I have one that's only 2.3 kilometers away. It's 4 tram stops away, but I don't have one really in my neighborhood. I've got an Albert Heijn downstairs, but I just don't have. Stargate or Star Trek Fleet Command starting to pull me back in by saying, hey, look, we put the Discovery in. I'm not going to play your enforced PvP game. I don't even know why you have the Discovery in it. You're in the Kelvin timeline.
Because money. You know why.
I know why. I just don't like it. Of course, it's also like Doctor Who. There is no established lore in Doctor Who. Oh, I got called out on TikTok today.
So what brings you in today? Lately, no matter what I do, my back constantly hurts. Okay, let me take a look at your chart and your medical history. Oh, you know what? I see what the issue is right away. Vanessa, you're almost 40. Yeah, so where you go? Where I go? Your back is gonna constantly hurt and you're always gonna wonder why. That's it? I mean, isn't there anything I can do to help it? Like stretches or should I take Advil or something? Oh, for sure. I'll show you some stretches and then you can take some Advil every like 6 to 12 hours. Oh, good. Okay. So how long do I have to do all that before it goes away? No. That's just what you do now.
Can I go one day without being called out on this app? Damn hell app. Fucking, I played one of those for the old folks at practice, and like one of them's like, I don't get it. I'm like, 'cause you haven't hit 30 yet. And like one of the guys over there on our defensive line, he's just like giving me the evil eye. I'm like, I've seen you duck out of some reps because of your bad back. Oh, my back hurts. Yeah. It sounds stupid, but I'd rather have icky back than shattered knees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got about 15 minutes until end of stream. So speak up or forever hold thine peace. I know it's like almost 3 o'clock on the East Coast. Midday. It's Tennessee, someone. So it was like I can't hear. I'm just like looking at the clock. I'm like, so it's like 2 in the afternoon right now on a Saturday. So I'm glad the gyms are open. I can get back into realizing what days are what. It's like 7 months just because like without football practice, I had willy-nilly time just going to the gym. And it's like, oh, I can do anything I want all the time. I don't have football practice, blah, blah, blah. And so like I didn't have my regular days. I was trying to get the strength going super well. So I was going like twice a week, for each body part. And it was just like, I think someone asked in my Instagram direct, they're like, would you ever do TikTok lives? And I'm like, probably not. I like having my ability to gesture to the side of me. I like having landscape live streams. And TikTok doesn't allow for that. I could probably like set the phone up in landscape, but it'll still broadcast me sideways because it enforces portrait mode. We'll call it that. I mean, is it portrait mode or?
For tall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was because I know that like landscape and portrait were almost like certain sizes, but like the tall, skinny phone thing is
Portrait.
still
It's not size, it's shape.
okay. It's orientation. It's where the long is.
Yes.
What side is the long on? That's a weird notification, Forella. Notification: warranty is void when American football and or base/softball shoes are used for other sports like korfball. I love how that sports constantly in quotes.
Nobody takes it seriously.
It's not serious. It's just I can't. But it's sort of like, how do you know if I happen to play it? If I played korfball once, it does negate it. Like, is it that terrible? Okay, so I got Nike Alpha Menace 2 Shark. I have blue ones that are still good. What I need are like cleats. Like, duh. Yeah, I know. Looking for like ones that I can wear out to an extent. Okay. Making sure that I was actually at the bottom of the chat in case it was scrolling off without me. But by doing that, I noticed there was an arrow at the bottom. So if it ever happens, I'll realize there's an arrow. All right. Select your country. Yes, please ship it to Belarus. Belarus. I am a customer. Sign in. Subscribe to our newsletter. Nope, nope, nope. No baseball, no American. Well, fine, I'll put American football. Okay, shopping cart. Continue shopping details. Okay, so I'm picking these up to replace my white ones for game.
Okay.
And these, but in blue, are practice cleats. They're like half price right now.
Gotcha.
Oh wait, no, they'll be in red instead of the blue. Why? Whatever. No. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to spend a lot of money. But like $40 was roughly about the price of the cheap cleats at Decathlon. But as I literally only have one pair of cleats, and those are intended for game, I should have bullshit practice cleats, home and away cleats. So that's why. Player kit 15% off. Oh, I'm not clicking that button. Not right now, not while I'm in the checkout screen. I want to change my billing information. Or my billing information. Why is that? I'll change that later. Billing information should be fine. Ugh. I haven't ordered anything from them in a while. No. Banking. Fingerprint to log in. QR code. I think. Pay. I think. Complete. Nope, nothing new in the live stream. Okay. Thank you for your order. Okay, what's that player kit? 15% off. Oh my goodness. So it's a Riddell Speedflex, medium or large, 440 euros. Face mask, SF series, 75 euros. Shoulder pads, Riddell Combine SK, so skills, 289 euros. Mouth guard, Shock Doctor Gel Max, 15.95. Bag, the Forella large bag, is free with purchase. The total thing is 819 euros. One player kit discount 15%, 696 freaking euros, 96 cents.
Honestly, that's not that bad.
I know it's not that bad. And the most expensive thing is the helmet. That's why, like, if I do get a new helmet, because I can afford to get that sort of stuff with, you know, YouTube money and stuff, I'm probably just gonna sell that one for like 200 if someone really wants to keep playing for the sport, you know, with the hurricanes and stuff. I mean, I could probably put it up on Marktplatz. They're all listed as rugby balls. Not marked plots, but this is also like people not, yeah, like not exactly the like regular companies. Internet sportandcasual.com, Newport rugby ball, marine blau and blau. Then there's LSU Riddell Speed American football helmet medium plus Nike visor. Awesome. I don't know what I'm doing with an LSU helmet. I mean, it looks cool. Definitely not playable. I mean, for all I know, it could be someone that, you know, retired or moved here from there and like kept their helmet or something. And it's just like, need space. It's been posted since May 17th. That's nice. Okie dokie. So Victoria said something at 8:27. It is currently 8:58. It's been half an hour. No one's been in the chat. I gave you the 15-minute warning. I will catch you guys all next week. I'm gonna go chill out on some TikTok for a little bit. Grabbed a cool little video. There's no words on it. I don't need to do anything for it. I don't know if I want to post it. It's just a video I saved and put it in my drafts. I'll show Aaron here in a sec. But yeah, so hopefully next week I'll be able to show you guys some of my new cleats. I will do a gear review video for whatever day they come in. It's for Ella. Could be here tomorrow. Could be probably not tomorrow, but Tuesday, Wednesday. Could be here in like 3 weeks. I don't know. Ciao. Tot ziens. Tot volgende week.